Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today, we're going to talk about feeling detached, disconnected from the world, from friends, from family, from career in general. I understand that this podcast has reached different countries. There is a common bond that connects us all, and that is that we are all human beings. We all love, we all laugh, and we all cry. There are different reasons that people feel disconnected. They might be stuck home with an illness, and that's originally why I made this podcast, is for those that are stuck home. But it goes even beyond that. They might be elderly and it's just too hard to get out. Or there's a million different reasons why people feel detached or disconnected. For me, for example, it was when I moved away for a while, and then when I came back, I realized I hadn't kept in touch with any friends, didn't have a career, so I felt disconnected from the world, from my friends, where I didn't know where in this world I belonged. And somehow I came across this lady that was able to figure these things out. I can't even remember how she was brought to my attention, but I went over to her house. She and another woman hooked me up to a computer. It was quite interesting. I really don't even understand what was going on. I can't even tell you what it was called. But this computer spit out that I felt disconnected. And at that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I was feeling. Because I couldn't explain it. I didn't have words for it. Something inside wasn't right. And when I heard that word disconnect, or you can call it detached, it really hit the nail on the head. So when I left, I felt much happier just knowing what the situation was, why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So then I had to figure out, what am I going to do about it? At that time, I hadn't been given all the tools that I have today. But I would say at this moment, if you're feeling detached, disconnected from the world, family, friends, career, from whatever, physical tools that you can use are some of the ones that we talked about in previous episodes. Making an intention board, for one, and one of your categories or pictures can be a group of people symbolizing your friends, your family, colleagues, whoever you want it to be. And make sure one person in that picture symbolizes you. And that will put that out into the universe to start working on that. The other is the visualization exercise. Start visualizing yourself surrounded by people that you wish to be around. Again, whether it be family, friends, colleagues, it doesn't matter. Just start visualizing that situation going on. The third thing you can do that's important in life in general is to have a positive attitude. And our brains can actually be trained to have more of a positive attitude. Somebody had taught this to me, that when you have a negative thought, write it down, and then right below it, write the opposite thought, write the positive thought. And you're basically teaching your brain to flip from negative to positive. And after you do this, it only takes about a week or two. Your brain will automatically make that flip on its own. It's really interesting. I picture it kind of like one of those old-fashioned Rolodex that are round and you turn them and the card comes up and says something on one side. But if you flip it over, it says the opposite. That's exactly what our brains can do. As far as being disconnected goes, and as far as elderly goes, as I've mentioned, I get a lot of my epiphanies from all over the place, but TV is one of them. And when it hits me, when it hits my spirit, when it hits my heart, I know it to be true. And on the news, they had a segment about Tyler Perry, the actor, going into Walmart and paying for all the seniors that were in there buying their groceries. And when he was asked why he did that, he said, because they have paved the way for us. And I start thinking about that because there's so much stigma with getting older. I think you feel like, oh no, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore. But when I heard that he said that, it gave me, for example, a whole different attitude about seniors, because all of us would not be here today if it wasn't for somebody who went before us, who took care of us, who taught us. And for that, they are to be respected. Now that we've talked about all of the physical and mental things you can do to help that feeling of detachment, disconnection, and I know particularly during this pandemic, during the time of being quarantined, it's very easy to feel disconnected. But with that being said, I want to say there is a lot to be said for letting life unfold. We shouldn't have to work so hard at making life the way we want it. We shouldn't have to spend 50% of our time in meditation, visualizing. Yes, we need to do it. We need to make our thoughts productive and positive. However, when you put out there what your heart's desires are, you've got to be open to what the reality is of what comes into your life being possibly different than you anticipated. But if you give it a chance, you will find that it's better than you ever dreamed. So by letting life unfold, there's an excitement to it. You can't imagine what is going to happen tomorrow. Sometimes we fight so hard to have one person in particular in our lives or a group of friends in our life. But oftentimes it's those that are on the sideline that we are not even thinking about that would truly be the most rewarding to us. It would truly add more to our life than we can ever imagine. So don't be attached to the exact outcome that you wanted. Let life unfold, and it's very exciting, the steps that it takes. A couple examples I'll give you that happened to me was one day I was at work, and when I came home, there was a flyer, and it said that they wanted to use my house to film part of a movie. And I thought it was a scam for sure. So I called the appropriate people and found out it was not a scam. I mean, this particular situation that happened was basically life-changing. And I am still very good friends to this day with somebody I met working on that movie. Another time, a friend had called me and said, they're hiring a temporary long-term position at the school district. And I never visualized myself working in a school setting. But I took the job, and I not only ended up loving it and loving the children and found it so rewarding and so satisfying, but I also worked with a girl that I became very good friends with. So then we started going out for breakfast before we went to work, and it was really fun. It was definitely nothing I would have chosen on my own. A third example is when they opened Starbucks, and I was invited to the grand opening at our particular neighborhood Starbucks. And I went there and I saw a cousin I hadn't seen for a while, and he introduced me to all his friends. Well, long story short, that Starbucks ended up fulfilling a big chunk of my life. I met the most wonderful people. And then that's pretty much when I ended up getting sick. So I had to quit my job. which would have been totally devastating if I didn't have Starbucks to fall back on. There's been a lot of history that has happened there, and I still love to go there. So again, some of the best surprises in life are something that we're not even thinking of. So be excited about your life. Be excited about getting up tomorrow, because you never know when you're going to receive a gift, and be open to it not being exactly the way you thought it was going to be, because I guarantee it's going to be better. I think the best thing we can do is be the best version of ourselves, be our true selves. We all are born with an innate talent, whether that be the talent of being a good listener or being a rock star. Anywhere in between, it doesn't matter. But get excited about being the best version of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.